A few years ago, when Ebola hit this country, there were so many rumors and false information. Some people say if you drink salt water, it might help prevent the infection, all of which was false. In fact, 2 people were reported to have died after excessively drinking salt water solution. That was a clear-cut case of the dangers of false information. Today, when it comes to COVID-19, it is no different. In fact, it is even worse. Misinformation and disinformation and malinformation on COVID-19 is so perverse, so widespread. But the law is not silent. There are legal implications for spreading false information around COVID-19. Welcome to the COVID Law series. My name is Jake Okechukwu Efodu. And on this show, I discuss issues that concern you, COVID-19, and the law.
This is the COVID Law series. This is the COVID Law series.
In August 2020, from a BBC report, it was reported that at least 800 people may have died, not from COVID-19 directly, but from COVID-related misinformation. All of this in just 3 months at the start of the year. Another study at the same time estimated that about 5,800 people were admitted to hospital based on false information that they consumed from social media. For example, several people died after drinking methanol and alcohol cleaning agents with the false belief that it could cure the virus. Now, let's go to the streets. What is the one thing you heard about COVID-19 that you later found out is not true?
That it was caused by drinking a lot of stored liquid milk in the refrigerator. And so it wasn't going to affect black people that much because we didn't store fresh milk in refrigerators.
That COVID-19 kills everybody, and that COVID-19 is going to make you bedridden for a long time and eventually kill you, which is not true.
I was made to believe that once you take the jabbing, what they call the dose, the vaccine, you are 100% immune, but I come to realize that it's not true.
One of the things I discovered about COVID-19 is not as deadly as they are thinking, though it kills the old and those who are their immune system are down.
Many people say that COVID-19 is not true. But me, I know COVID-19 is true because I saw it happen in many countries.
Okay, and the one thing I heard about COVID-19 that I later found out was not true was the rumor going around that people that took it had the magnetic chips on their shoulder. Some of them used phone and the phone stuck there, and I found that really not true because so many of my colleagues took it and nothing of such happened.
They say people they die for COVID-19, but I never see anybody who die. People who I know say they die and for hunger then they die.
When it comes to COVID-19, sharing information is important because you could be saving a life. But when that information is false, it could pose several dangers. Welcome to the COVID Law series. On this episode, we're talking about the criminality of spreading false information on COVID. And to discuss with me, I have 2 barristers, Barrister Bisola Gbamigbola and Barrister Amarachi Okechukwu. Welcome to the show. So I've heard several terminologies used when it comes to COVID. They say there's COVID misinformation, there's COVID disinformation. What are these terminologies? Like, what do they mean? Misinformation and disinformation. Barrister Amarachi, could you help us with some definitions here?
Misinformation is the passing of false information without the intention of causing harm or deceiving the audience. On the other hand, disinformation is the passing of false information with the intention and deliberately to deceive the audience or cause harm to the public.
Okay, so they're pretty much siblings, Jane and Jeanette, Igbeke and Igbako. So you're telling me now that misinformation is just you didn't know that it's false because you didn't have any intent to deceive people. But disinformation comes with criminal intent. Like you know that you're deceiving people and you're spreading it. Is this a crime?
Yes, spreading of false information is a crime, and this has been provided for under Section 59, Sub 1 of the Criminal Code. Any person who publishes any statement likely to cause fear or cause public harm is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for 3 years.
So do people know that when they are spreading false information on COVID-19 that could make people fear or cause public harm, that it's a crime? Are people aware of this?
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse, and Section 59 Sub 2 of the same criminal code provided that it is no defense to a charge that you were not aware that the information you passed was false, except you can prove that you took reasonable steps to verify the information before passing it out.
Very interesting. So it does not matter whether you know that it is false. As long as it's false, you are liable for punishment, except you have taken, just like you mentioned, Barrister Amarachi, except you have taken reasonable steps to verify that the information is actually accurate. So over to you now, Barrister Bisola. So it is clear that sharing false information on COVID is a criminal offense. Is there anything you can add to this?
Just to add to what Barrister Amarachi has said, when as businesses, if you go about misrepresenting your product as what it's not, or saying it can do certain things and it cannot, that's commercial fraud. For instance, WHO recommends the hand sanitizer should contain at least 90% alcohol, and you say yes, your hand sanitizer has 90% alcohol. Meanwhile, you know that it's less than 50. People purchase those hand sanitizers and try to use them to prevent the virus, and obviously they won't work because it's not what is recommended. You've committed a commercial fraud, and relevant authorities, they've also been trying to, curb that. They go around frequently, trying to see that products that say that they do certain things, especially when it comes to our face masks, the hand sanitizers, a lot of those products, they actually meet up to the expectations of the public. Or you make a particular product now, you're saying it's the cure for COVID-19. You concocted this thing at the back of your house. Nobody has verified that it can cure anything. You can be arrested for that. You can be prosecuted because you're endangering the life of people. Your action is directly endangering the life of people, especially during this era of the pandemic.
Okay, so it's interesting you made a very important point, that it's not just when people share false information on social media that it amounts to a crime, that even when businesses lie that, this is their agbo, this is their drink, it's a cure for COVID, or that their sanitizer is the eliminator of COVID, like if it's a lie, it's also a crime. But you also mentioned that there are some regulatory bodies that go around to ensure that anybody who falsely misrepresents, they take them to action. Which organization is this?
For instance, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, they did a lot of that during the lockdown.
So how can people verify that the information they're sharing on COVID is accurate and true?
The first step is to find the origin, where this information comes from. Secondly, you verify the source. Is the source a reliable source? For example, did it come from WHO or the NCDC? Then after, you verify the location. Where did it come out from? Is it from Nigeria? Is it from the UK? Is it from China? Where did the information come out from? Then you verify the date. So the final step is to understand the motivation for why the information is being passed out now. Is it to incite fear or to cause confusion? If it's something that came out 2 weeks ago, why didn't we know about it 2 weeks ago? Why is it just popping up now? So you understand the motivation for why the information is coming up at the moment.
Thank you very much, Barrister Amarachi Okechukwu. When a person has shared something false on COVID, let's say there's some misinformation, video or picture or text, and they've shared it on social media, is there anything that they can do to remedy the situation?
Before the law steps in, they can go on such platforms where they where they spread such information, explain that this information is untrue, and, apologize to the people there for, passing across such messages. If it's a post or something or a message you can delete it from that platform. If it's a community, tell them that, okay, this message is wrong, and also let them know which is the correct position. What is the correct information? Don't leave the space void. When you delete the post of the wrong information or the misinformation, put in the right information there. Before you post any information, before you spread any information, always confirm it, because whether or not you apologize, if you're going to be prosecuted, you're still going to be prosecuted. Also, another thing to do, before you post any information, always make sure that it's the correct position. You don't want to, if you don't know what it is, then don't post it.
Coronavirus is in trouble. You see this medicine? Sure, you people are seeing this medicine like this. This medicine can cure coronavirus. Coronavirus, you are finished. Sure, I told you not to come to Nigeria. You did not hear word. See yourself now. I have finished you. Coronavirus is finished. Anybody that has coronavirus, bring it. I will drink it. Once I drink it and I drink this medicine, the virus is gone. Come and buy for you and your neighbor. Buy for your landlord daughter and your assistant boyfriend and girlfriend that is yet to have coronavirus in advance.
Thank you, UG Tunes, and thanks to my guest and to you for joining me on this episode of the COVID Law series. Quick recap. Spreading false information on COVID-19 could result to criminal liability and punishment with imprisonment and a fine. Also, if you see any information on COVID-19 before you share it, check the source, verify the authenticity, look out for the date, look out for the location, and ask yourself, what is the motivation behind this message being sent? If I share it, what is it likely going to cause? Question before you hit the send button. Also, make sure you're getting your information from credible sources like the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, like the World Health Organization, or the Center for Disease Control globally. And finally, suppose should in case, if maybe perhaps you shared some information and you discovered that it was false, please go back to where you shared that information, delete it, retract it, apologize, and if possible, replace it with the correct, accurate information, because when you spread news on COVID-19, people's lives are involved. Thank you very much for joining me today on the COVID Law series. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.